Since the start of our administration, I wanted Missouri to align with the spirit of President Trump's DOGE efforts at the federal level to increase efficiency, eliminate waste, and improve accountability.
The Department of Government Efficiency, otherwise known as DOGE, has officially shut down. DOGE was initially led by Elon Musk with the goal of eliminating waste and fraud, including cutting the federal workforce and federal funding from programs like USAID.
A CBS News review of 3 of the largest cuts listed there shows the actual savings were not a combined $6.4 billion as claimed, but $165 million. In other words, DOGE was off by 97%.
No one, and I have asked this question of everybody in this building, no one can provide me a model that shows me we're not going to increase the cost of living to Missourians in the lower 60%, including people with disabilities who aren't paying an income tax, people who are retired, elderly living in their home. Under your model, they will pay more at the grocery store.
The largest tax increase Missourians will ever see will fund a permanent tax cut for those who are doing better than they are.
If this HJR passes, our sales tax will rise dramatically on basic goods and services like groceries, doctor's visits, and home repairs, among many, many others.
You are authorizing yourselves the ability to raise sales taxes on any goods and services.
Any good or services is eligible for sales tax.
Paying taxes at the doctor's office, paying taxes at the auto repair, your rent.
Having to pay a tax on rent. People quite literally cannot afford to live in your economy.
It means paying more when the plumber has to come during an emergency. It means paying more for everyday services that working people rely on.
This is bad for pretty much everyone except maybe the top 20%.
Missourians will see this. I hear from my constituents, this is not what they want.
There's not a single exemption in this bill. Missourians are being sold a bill of lies.
So to all the people out there, be very clear, this does not put money in your pockets, especially if you are already struggling.
Overruling the will of the voters is I guess, so commonplace here that we don't even realize that we're doing it.
That was impressive, actually, Mr. Speaker.
Boy, I sure do wish this body cared as much about first graders hiding under their desks as they do about fetuses. Here we are, talking about another abortion ban in the state of Missouri. And I am going to bring up Amendment 3 from 2024. I would remind the gentleman who just suggested that that was not worth bringing into this conversation, that Amendment 3 passed in his district by 2.6%. I would remind the lady from the Jones district that Amendment 3 passed in her district by 10.7%. I suggest y'all start listening to your constituents. As a reminder, Amendment 3 passed in a majority of House districts, and Missourians also voted to be represented by a Republican supermajority in this very legislature. Oh, good, we got a point of order comment?
Please state your point of order.
We are not discussing Amendment 3. We're discussing the bill that's in front of us. We need to stay germane to this topic.
I'll remind the body to keep your comments germane. Please proceed.
And I'll remind the lady that those points of orders are getting old. So help me understand the fervor in rushing back to Jefferson City in 2025 to put an abortion ban back on the ballot. And now here we are in 2026 trying to criminalize Missourians and their doctors and attempting to deny women who are experiencing medical emergencies the critical life-saving care they need. And for what? Seriously, who is this for? Well, I have some theories. Could it be that we are in the middle of an election year? It's almost like y'all know your abortion ballot measure is going to fail, so you had to find some more red meat for your base this cycle. Okay. Could it be that your president is so embarrassingly unpopular due to astronomical gas prices, foreign wars, and the $2.25 trillion that he's added to the national debt?
Gentlemen, please state your point of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That is not germane to the topic. This is dealing with infants born alive and not the President of the United States. God bless his soul. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Lady, please keep your comments germane. Proceed.
All right. I'll move on. Here's my last theory. Could it just be that the white Christian nationalists inside and outside of this chamber will stop at nothing in their quest to control women on every level? I think that might be it. I've heard a lot from colleagues across the aisle complaining that our rhetoric around controlling women is hyperbolic. Oh, there the Dems go again, crying about control. But we care about life. Do you all know this story about how the Missouri Women's Legislative Caucus started in the 90s? Back in 90 or 91, a bipartisan group of female legislators in this building got together because they decided we needed to change a policy in Missouri. You know what that policy was? Banning marital rape. Because at the time, I was in elementary school, it was still legal to rape your spouse in Missouri. Bless her heart.
Proceed, please. State your point of order.
We are talking about babies being born alive and the ability to kill them after birth. We're not talking about abortion. We're not talking about rape. We are talking about babies being born alive and not being able to be killed.
Please state your point of order. State your point of order, please. Lady from St. Louis.
I think that the lady needs to sit down and allow our floor leader to speak, our minority floor leader to speak. She can't get a word out, and she keeps interrupting, and this is about vulnerable persons, and that's what we're talking about.
We will have some order in this chamber. I will remind the body to keep your comments germane. Please proceed. You have 11 minutes and 19 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let's fast forward to 2026, shall we? It took until 2026 for Missouri to finally allow pregnant women to get divorced. That feels like control to me. But it's not just control of our reproduction or lack thereof. For some of us, gasp. White men in this country have a storied history of keeping women in marginalized communities in check via public policy. This is just another example. From chattel slavery and the systematic genocide of indigenous Americans to Japanese internment camps and the Tuskegee experiments. And for the women in this country, it's what we wear, how much we earn, restrictions on our health care, and access to paid maternity leave. Did you know that women in this country were unable to get a credit card without their husband or their father's permission until 1974? Or that women still earn just 82 cents for every dollar earned by a man for the same work? The point is not life. The point is control. And frankly, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of standing in this chamber, listening to my colleagues bare their souls and relive their sexual and pregnancy and infertility traumas to try to explain to the men in this room and the women who gleefully carry the water for the patriarchy in the name of Jesus, why women deserve access to life-saving health care. I'm sick of sharing my own rape story, both publicly and privately, to convince you to stop passing laws that hurt rape survivors, some of whom are children. Does that fit under vulnerable people, lady? Missouri, I hope you're paying attention. In a year where we are all scrimping and saving to make ends meet, this abortion bill was the first to pass out of the House this session. This is the priority of Missouri Republicans. Not making your life more affordable, not making your life easier. Just another abortion ban pushed by a sad old man who cosplays as Superman when he's not busy controlling women's bodies. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Property taxes. Cutting property taxes. Cutting property taxes.
Cut income and property taxes with Amendment 5.
Okay, so how is this supposed to eliminate property taxes? And there's nothing in there in language, there's nothing in there in policy that's going to help our property taxes on this. This has nothing to do with it. It's again, they're trying to just use little tiny words that they know Missourians wanted help on, which was property taxes, which the Missouri legislature did nothing about. If they wanted to do something about property taxes, we had a really good piece that the Republicans could have passed, but they didn't the last week of session because the House Republicans infighted and did not agree. This is not going to help anybody.
Of course, the governor and the majority party's income tax replacement proposal will benefit primarily one group of people, and that is billionaires in the state. The cost of paying taxes, the burden of paying taxes, will shift under this plan from those in the upper few percent to the backs of working families, the backs of retirees, the backs of individuals with disabilities. This plan will significantly increase the cost of living for most people. To go about your daily lives, you're going to pay more under the governor's income tax replacement proposal than you're paying now. If you make over several $100,000, then this plan probably benefits you. We have constitutional prohibitions and protections right now that protect taxpayers, and the governor wants to take those away and repeal them. I am categorically against anything that's going to increase the cost of living for Missourians who are already struggling to make ends meet, and this proposal will do just that.
You work hard. As a Missouri Newell, I respect that. But it ain't fair you pay all those taxes while big corporations pay almost nothing. Stop working like a mule to give them a free ride. Cut income and property taxes with Amendment 5.
That is just so unbelievably ridiculous. First of all, the whole mule thing is just cringy to me. But again, this isn't going to make big corporations pay more. This is going to make everyday Missourians pay more at the grocery store, to get their hair cut, to go to the doctor. Anything can be taxed. There's essentially no exemptions. So it's ludicrous to suggest that this is really going to hurt big corporations and help everyday Missourians. We know for a fact the Missouri Budget Project, nonpartisan groups that have studied this have said it will undoubtedly impact and hurt 80% of Missourians. The top 20%, yes, they will benefit, but they are the people that need it the least. They're not the ones that are struggling right now at the grocery store to put food on the table.
Missouri is one of 26 states that has citizen-led initiative processes. It means that if we want something and our legislators won't do it for us, we can collect signatures, put it on a ballot, and vote for it. That's how we overturned abortion ban. That's how we expanded Medicaid. That's how we raised the minimum wage. That's how we have legalized weed in Missouri. So the Missouri GOP supermajority obviously wants to get rid of this initiative petition process, and they're putting it on the ballot in August. It's Amendment 4. And do you know their excuse for saying that we shouldn't be able to put things on the ballot? They said that dark out-of-state money is funding our initiative petitions. And that's not true, but do you know who is using dark out-of-state money to put an amendment on the ballot? Mike Kehoe, our governor. Missouri's governor is opposed to out-of-state funding, but not for his own ballot measure. Governor Mike Kehoe has spent months telling voters that the state constitution is under threat from out-of-state special interests using ballot initiatives to bypass the Republican-controlled legislature. He's using that argument as support for Amendment 4, which is trying to get rid of our citizen-led ballot initiatives. But when it comes to a different constitutional amendment central to his own agenda, Kehoe is benefiting from financial support provided by a Delaware nonprofit that does not disclose the identities of its donors. It's dark money. And that's Amendment 5. Governor Kehoe is trying to get rid of the income tax and swap it for a sales tax, which would hurt 80% of Missourians, but it would help his wealthy donors. We don't use dark money for our ballot initiatives. There's lists of donors. Mike Kehoe is using dark money to try to get rid of the income tax in Missouri. Every single accusation from the GOP is a confession. They use dark money. They don't want us to have any power. They want to silence us. Vote no on Amendment 4. Vote no on Amendment 5.